No, it just looks spooky. How's it going, guys? Today I want to go over a problem called next closest time. This was another question that was requested in my Discord server. This is one of the most frequently asked questions according to LeetCode at Google. So if you guys are interested in requesting questions for me to actually solve, you guys can check the link in the description and consider joining my Discord server. So that being said, let's get into our video for today. Alright guys, so today we're solving next closest time. Again, this is one of Google's most frequently asked questions. Great question to know. Our problem description says, given a time represented in the format hours, hours, minutes, minutes, form the next closest time by reusing the current digits. There's no limit on how many times a digit can be reused. So you may assume that the input string is always valid, and for example, 0134 and 1209 are all valid, 134 is valid, 134 and 129 are invalid. So if we're given an input of 1934, so 7:34 p.m., right? This is like military time. We would output 1939 because that's the next closest time, reusing the digits that we have. So first thing I think we should think about how to tackle is basically how are we going to represent this number in a way that's easy to generate next times, right? So one way we could really do this is just take the current time we have, add 1 minute to it, and constantly add 1 minute to it every time, checking if that next time is valid. So that's actually the way we're going to solve this. So one really easy way to convert this kind of format here, 1934, to a format that's a lot easier to deal with is let's just convert the entire time to minutes, right? So a really easy way to do that is basically just to take the hours, parse from a string to an integer, multiply by 60, and then do the same thing. Take the minutes from a string to an integer and just add it. So let's do that to start with. So we're going to say int minutes equals time. Well, actually we have to parse it first. So integer.parse int time.substring 0 to 2 to grab those first two numbers, and then we're going to multiply that by 60. And now all we have to do is actually add the minutes that we have left. So we're going to say minutes plus equals integer.parse int time.substring 3, and that should just about do it. So that's going to take everything from the third character onward. So it's going to skip the colon, right? And then it will parse it to an integer and add it to our minutes. Great, so now we have the time in a format that we can kind of deal with and reason with. And we can basically like add 1 minute very easily just by adding 1 and then checking if this is a valid combination, right? If this is a valid next time. So the next thing we kind of have to tackle is, okay, how are we going to know if it is a valid time, right? So a very easy way to do this is we can take all the numbers that we have in our current time variable and we could just throw in a hash set. So in O of 1 time, we could check for every single digit in our next time that we create, is this a valid next time? So to do that, we're going to create a hash set. So hash set integer, and we'll call this digits equals new hash set. Cool. And now we just need to put all of the digits that we have in time into this hash set of integers. So we'll say for character C in time.toChar array, and we'll say digits.add C minus the character 0. And so what that'll actually do is it'll take the character that we have, it'll subtract the character by the character 0, so that will convert them to integers, and it has this nice property where if we just take the number 9 and subtract the character 0, or rather I should say the character 9 subtracted by the character 0, we will get number 9. So that will take care of actually allowing us to check very quickly if a time that we generate is valid and if it contains the digits that we already have available to us. Cool, so now that tackles that. So now what we need to do is we actually need to start generating the next combinations, right? The next time to see if it's valid. So what we can do is we can just have a while loop. So we'll say while true. So in other words, while we haven't found a time, really a next closest time, what we're going to do is we're going to just simulate a clock. So we'll take our current time, we'll add 1 to it, and then we'll check, hey, is this new time valid? So we'll just say minutes equals minutes plus 1. So again, that's adding 1 to our current time to simulate the next time. And now we just need to think about the case where it's like 11:59 p.m., right? This is military time, so it should become 0000, meaning midnight. So the way we could do that is we could just say mod this value by 24 times 60, and then we'll actually make sure that we wrap around, right? So if it's 11:59 p.m., it'll become midnight or 0000 a.m. Cool. So we don't really have AMs and PMs in military time per se, but anyways, that's the idea. Cool, so now we have our next time, right? So now we need to check, okay, is our next time valid? So what we need to do is we need to take the minutes that we have and actually convert it back to the time or the format that we had before. So to do that, we could just say int next time, and we could set that equal to an integer array, okay? And what we're gonna do here basically is we're gonna take our minutes and convert it back to the format we had. So we'll take our minutes and we'll divide it by 60 first to convert it back to the hour. So we're taking care of the leftmost digit now. So minutes divided by 60, and then we're going to divide it by 10, so it gives us the leftmost digit. And then we'll say minutes divided by 60 again, gives 60 minutes in an hour. And then we'll say mod 10, because that will give us the remainder, so the second digit from the left. And then we will say minutes, and now we want the third digit, so we're going to say mod 60 divided by 10. So again, it's going to be, there's 60 minutes an hour. So we'll take mod 60, then we'll divide by 10 so we get the third most. And then we'll say minutes mod 60 and mod 10. Cool. So that will give us the format or the digits in each of the recording slots, right? So the 0th position will represent the leftmost. The first position will represent, the 0th position will represent the leftmost. The digit to the second to the left will represent this index 1 here, and so on and so forth. So now we have the format back. Now we just need to check, okay, are all the numbers that we have in this next time in our digits hash set? And if it is, we've actually found the next closest time. So let's check that. So we could say very quickly, we could just say for int digit in our next time. So for every digit in our next time array, and we also need a Boolean, right? So we should also say something like Boolean is valid. And we'll just assume it's valid first. And once we find a place where it's not valid, i.e. where our digit doesn't exist in our digits hash set, then we will set this Boolean to false. So we'll say if, and this should be digit, if our digits does not contain our digit, then we'll say is valid equals false. So now once we get through this loop, if valid is still true, then we've actually found the next valid or next closest time, right? Next valid closest time. So we'll say if is valid. Now we just want to return our new formatted string, right? So all we have to do is actually just say string return string dot format. And the format that we actually want is we want %02 decimal, and then we want a colon, and then we want another variable that's formatted to 2 decimal places or 2 digit places. And so we're going to pass here now as our hours and then our minutes, right? So our hours is really just minutes divided by 60. And then our minutes is just our minutes mod 60. So that's it, guys. That's how to do it. Let's make sure that this works. It looks like it does. So if this was helpful, guys, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. This is next closest time in Java. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.